How we doing today, guys? Sam back with you with this week's fishing report. Before we get started, I do want to mention our biggest sale of the year coming up on the 14th and 15th. That's going to be Customer Appreciation Event. The biggest sales we're going to have all season long. If you're looking to stock up for next season or you're getting into the big fall season coming up, this is the time to do it. Not just your tackle and fishing, but clothing. Every department's going to have some massive deals, even the hunting and gun section. So make sure to come in and check us out 14th, 15th. We're going to have all sorts of cool raffles, all sorts of stuff, a bunch of great vendors in. But let's talk about fishing. So this week is really the kickoff to me to the fall time. We're going to start having some of that cooler weather push in this weekend, and we're really going to move into our fall striper patterns, which is honestly probably the best time of the year to go fishing out in the bay, because you can do whatever you want to do. Whether you want to troll for them, whether you want to cast lures and find the schooled up fish, or maybe you want to find some bait and fish on the bottom with some soft crabs and spot that are still left over. This is the time to do it. Areas really become super vast as we have a lot of bait that pushes in and out of the rivers on the tides. We have a lot of fish that stage right up at the mouths of the rivers. I'm talking about the mouth of the Magothy, the mouth of the Severn. The mouth of the Chester has been really good. If you move down south, I've heard of stuff all the way out on front of Deal, that area there. Most of that early channel that shows up right off of the bank off of Deal has been pretty good too. So these fish are truly everywhere right now. The most success that I've heard is going to be from folks casting lures. We're starting to have some of the bigger bird shows show up, especially down south a little bit or towards Eastern Bay, as well as out towards the mouth of the Chester area. We've heard of some big bird shows going on. So what are you going to be fishing this time of the year? If you want to cast your lures, your 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce jigs paired up with 5 to 7 inch straight tail baits in that open water. If you're finding some fish shallower inside the rivers, maybe you go towards a paddle tail in that shallower water. You can work it a little bit better. If you want to troll for these fish, of course you can do that as well. Some of your bucktail tandems, classic tandems with 6-inch baits are always a good bet right now. If you want to pull some umbrella rigs, you certainly can as well. Don't be afraid to add some weight to them. Some of these fish are going to start holding a little bit deeper as the water gets even cooler. So a lot of good techniques there. As far as the bluefish, they basically have started to fizzle out. We do still have some up all the way up towards, I would say, out in front of right off of Kent Island is really the most further north that I've heard of consistent bluefish, but they're starting to fizzle out. If you're headed down south coming out of Chesapeake Beach area, you can certainly still find some, especially over on the east side if you want to cross the bay. So they're still out there, just they're starting to fizzle out on you. As far as perch goes, this is a great time to perch fish if you're from a boat. It starts to become a little bit tougher as we progress in October from the shores. These fish tend to push out into a little bit deeper water. Some of your deeper areas in the rivers, if you're fishing the Magothy, start looking for some of those deeper holes, some of that hard bottom. Same goes for the Severn. These fish really school up this time of the year. So once you get over a school, these white perch, I mean, you can sit there all day and really tear them up. Whether you want to cast some bigger lures, like some small 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce stink silvers, straight tail jigs that you can bounce off the bottom, or of course fishing a traditional Chesapeake Sibiki is always a good bet as well for those fish. So lots of good options there. They are going to start to fizzle out of your creeks and rivers, so start to focus on a little bit deeper water with that hard bottom. So that's mostly what we have going on in the bay. If you're a freshwater fisherman and looking to check out some of the mill ponds and rivers on the eastern shore, fall time is a great time to be out there. We have a lot more wind out there, so we can start using some more of our moving baits that we like our spinner baits, our chatter baits. So those fish start to fatten up for the winter months. Really good time to be bass fishing. Areas I would check out this time of the year would be Johnson's Lake or Johnson's Pond over in Salisbury. Some other good areas are going to be fishing on the upper part of the chop tank. Can be really good right now, especially that shallower water. You got fish pushing up shallow feeding. Really good areas there too. Pushing down towards the end of the bay, most of our bigger fish like our cobia and red drum fishing is starting to slow up quite a bit. There are certainly some folks out there who are still finding a few of them, but really that's going to start to finish up here soon, and that probably just about does it. So the last thing I'll talk about is crabbing. Crabbing is still doing really good. Traps start to become a little bit better this time of the year as we have our water start to progress down into the 60s. Pulling them up on a trop line, they start to drop off with that water temperature difference from the top to the bottom. When they're going from 60 degrees, 65, 70 degrees on the bottom up to an 80-degree water temp up top, they tend to start dropping off. So this time of the year, traps do a little bit better because you can kind of lock them in there on your way up. So good stuff to check out. The better rivers, from what I've heard, have still been the Severn. The Magothy's been doing okay, but the further south you go seems to be a little bit better from what I hear. So best of luck out there to you guys. Don't forget, next weekend is the big customer appreciation event. Thanks, guys.